And you wouldn't expect the Jamaicans necessarily, but I'll tell you, they're conniving.
Let's talk about merch. I hope you've
Let's do
got something
merch.
for it.
You have become the king of merch, and I want to steal all your ideas on this in particular. So, um, what is so? And maybe a good way to start this conversation is I was listening to some podcasts the other day, and not author podcasts, not podcast, but more like news, political things. And there was a lot of conversation about like everything is merch now. Like whether you're writing books or whether you're running the government or whether you're running a college or running like a yoga studio, like whatever, everyone, it's all merch. Like we're all trying to sell so much merch. People are buying merch. um what is the deal with merch? Why do we like it so much? Do you have any idea about this?
I think it's a great way to express your fandom for something, your passion for something. I'm trying to think of what I've got left in the closet, t-shirt wise. I've got a shirt from my favorite band. I've got some shirts with some book. I've got a couple Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy shirts, stuff like that. Um, I think it's become a necessity for artists in a lot of ways, with especially with streaming music and stuff like that, where the music, the recorded music has very little value, so it's all they've got to make their money in live concerts and T-shirts and vinyls back and special edition vinyls back, and I think it's a way to offset the dilution of value that we see due to the digital distribution of everything.
Well, it's interesting. Like something you said kind of resonated with me in that I used to work in marketing for performing arts organizations, and part of the things when you're working at like a theater, an opera company, or a ballet company, or whatever, is there used to be a time where people would really put a lot of value on playbills, like the actual programs, and people still do for sure.
Mm.
But we've gone so digital. The question always is like, how do we replicate? Like, it would be so much more efficient for these nonprofits to put everything digitally, right? They don't have to pay for the printing of Playbill every time. And why can't we do that? And part of it is, well, I want the playbill still. I want the program still. I want this thing. And most people don't display them, but they like having them for some
Hmm.
reason, right? For whatever reason, for putting in a memory box. Maybe some do display them. Maybe just some throw them away, but they're like, I saw this and I'm holding this close to my heart and I feel it go away. But there is something with merch where it's like, it may be the same kind of idea where it's like, I love this book or this podcast or this whatever. I can't have an actual piece of that, but I can have this tangible thing
Yeah.
and show it, right?
It's, jumping off that, it's actually really interesting. I'm sure you've been to the bookstore lately and you've seen all the fancier and fancier editions of the popular books.
And I'm seeing this on Instagram too, with especially the Night Circus for some reason. Is I don't the Folio Society is a group that's
Yeah,
like promoting this.
that's
Have you
one.
seen this?
Yeah, the Folio Society does a lot of special editions of things, leather bound stuff. There's
Yeah.
there's people, there's a whole corner of TikTok and Instagram that is just bookshelf reviews, and it's just people redoing their bookshelf with these wonderful, beautiful books. And I mean, but you're talking painted edges have come back in, foil covers,
Oh
stuff like
wow.
this. And the way I've heard it described, and which is most interesting, is like people will get they'll buy the ebook and read the ebook or listen to the audiobook too. And then they want their trophy copy for their shelf. And they want that representation of the book they love and read sitting on a
Boy.
shelf. So I don't
I
know if they
hate how
have
much I
people
like that
over.
term because that's it's good and I hate it and it's
I love
great
it.
and I'm gonna
Yeah.
use it.
Well, and that's, it's I'm the kind of person that I can't throw away a book. I've got bookcases and book you can kind of see a good stretch of some of them here. If I've bought a book, it's on the shelf. I can't throw them away. And I don't know, I don't have people come over and go, look at that. Stop, look, it's just, but it is, I can look at it and I feel good about it. I've seen a meme going around online where it's talking about like, you got to think of your bookshelves like a wine room, right? Like you're
Mm.
not buying the book to read now. You're not buying the bottle of wine to drink now. You're buying it to have for when in the future you have a taste for that. It's there to go grab. So and the more it's the more I think we've moved away from physical stuff, the more you almost want physical stuff to represent what you love. I've seen, people wanting to bring a big call for owning physical media for DVDs. They can't take this away. They can't edit it and not tell you. They can't, there
Well, I
maybe
mean,
there is
we've
something to that.
seen that with vinyl, obviously, right? Like it's
Hmm.
been huge for the last decade or so. And I'm thinking as you're saying this, like it's interesting. I have displayed up here. You can't see it, but it's up here. My highly prized comic books.
Hmm.
I've got the first appearance of Black Panther is up on this wall. That's not a comic book you should put on the wall, right? But like that's something you should like put in a vault somewhere. But
Hmm.
it's here because it's to me the point of owning it is to share my enjoyment of that with other people. And I think books can be very similar. If you love this thing, you want to share it with people, even if they don't notice it, they don't clock it when they walk in the room. Because I will tell you, it's been a big disappointment in my life that most people who have come into this room do not care about a single comic book on this wall. And there are so many, and they don't care. And that
I've seen the shot.
it
There,
hurts.
it's quite a collection. I love
It
it.
hurts.
I love it. What hurts me is I think I had half of them growing up, and I even took care of them and had them set aside, and I don't know where the hell they
That's a
are.
pain I cannot even begin
It
to
is.
fathom
Oh,
because I
yeah.
can't. No, no, you did bad, Ben. You did bad.
I know.
Um, but there is, I mean, there's something so special in, you know what, I have this and it's for me. And someday someone will come into this room and see this bookshelf or this wall of comic books and they will so appreciate it. And then I will feel so good. And I do have like, kind of bridging this gap between books and comic books. I have a couple, mass produced like graphic novels and kind of collections of things that because of stories we don't have time to get into. Like I have one signed by Stan Lee, and the book itself is worth nothing, but it has Stan Lee's signature in it.
Hmm.
One of them is also worth nothing, but it has Jim Lee has a signature, and then he like sketched Batman, and like that is something I can pull out and show people, and it's really cool. So the tangible thing is so important, and I'm really glad it's coming back. I don't know
Me
if the,
too. Me too. Yeah, it's neat. It's even having that availability. Like I said, I've got a T-shirt from my favorite band. The shirt's only it came out last year. It's a newly designed shirt, but the band they've reunited like all older bands at this point, but they'd broken up 20 years ago. But there's new fresh designs for people that like this band. There's a lot of and I think a lot of that too, and I think the parallels between the band and the author are tremendous because it is a way to support something you love. I
yeah.
can go buy that shirt. I know the band will benefit. I can go buy the vinyl. Yeah, I've got the CD. I've got it on Spotify. But buying the vinyl is great to me to have, and then I know it supports them as well. And with the author too, I mean, like we know how long it takes to write a book. It takes quite a while, and you can't sell it more than well 3 times, I guess. Print, ebook, and audio to the really awesome
Always on the
fans.
lookout for the fourth one though. Always
Exactly. I
on the
mean, you,
lookout.
you sell it once and it's there, and so there. It's a nice way to support an author you love too. And it's funny. I listened to growing up. I listened to some bands that I think have since become very influential. But back then, you were kind of picked on in the schoolroom for like, that's what? I've never heard of them. But you wore the shirt for the one person that might
Right.
recognize it, right? Like, I
Yeah.
know what that's from. You're
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
There was a guy, I was at Fan Expo a few years ago, and there was a guy wearing a movie accurate Rad Racing t shirt from the movie Rad.
Oh man,
And he
with
walked
Lori
by the
Loughlin.
table. I'm like, oh my God, that is the most amazing thing. And he came over. He's like, thank you. Tell my wife. I told her somebody would get it. It was like this great thing.
I mean, first of all, the fact that more people don't get the rad reference is heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. But yeah, there's something like that. It helps you find your tribe, it helps you find your people.
Mm.
And what I'm curious about, so because I do sell some merch with my podcast, and it sells with the same people every time, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
They keep coming back to show support for the show. I am new to this idea of kind of selling merch based on my books. You've been very helpful in that. Thank you again for you've printed out some stickers that I designed and sent them back to me, and I'm working on the pricing of that and get that up there. But I'm really excited to kind of roll this out and roll all my ideas out. But you have been doing merch for a long time, so I would love to hear your thoughts on like what has merch done for you in your sales, certainly, but also just kind of your brand, and has it changed the way you think about writing books?
That's interesting. I think a lot of the stuff for merch came from the need to have something else on the table at cons, right? Something else to not to make the books look bigger, but to it almost enriches the world, right? So like it's like if there's a sticker that's related to this, or if there's a shirt that's related to it or whatever, it feels like a bigger thing. Uh it just makes it feel richer or something like that. I mean, it makes for a better display, certainly. And a
Well, you're
lot
kind
of the,
of world building in the real world, right?
it is, and I think when you're at the show, you're trying to break out, you're trying to stand out at a con on a table, and we'll talk about that definitely how to set up your table and stuff like that in the future. But you're trying to stand out, so we were trying to put things on the table that would like get people's attention. Colorful stickers are a great way to do that. They're fun, they're cartoonish, they're whatever, and in doing so, what I didn't want to do was just make a sticker of the cover art, right? I
Right.
think that's the default. And I don't like I've mentioned this earlier. I've got a couple of Hitchhiker's Guide shirts. I don't have a single one that has the cover art. I've got one that says "Don't panic," and I've got another one that says "It's the heart of gold." Right? It's the ship name.
When you see a lot of
And
those, like with like the planet like sticking its tongue out and stuff, but it's not the full cover.
but it's just the
It's
graphic, right? It's
yeah.
not like the cover. And I think a lot of people just get the cover art put on
And
or
I'll say
whatever.
Barnes and Noble leaned into the cover art as merch, and we all know what happened to Barnes and Noble. So,
Yeah. Yeah, they're no longer with us. No, wait, no, they're better than ever.
oh wait, shit, they came back. Oh, okay, bad example.
I don't have any of that though. I mean, some
You're
of
not Harper Lee, so
yeah, some of that is nice stuff, but as far it makes for a good poster on the wall, but it's like a sticker and stuff like that. Like we started pulling some lines from the book that were well received. And what we found early on was one of the lines we pulled from the book worked whether you knew the book or not. And we were starting to sell it to people that didn't even want the book. Like they just started like, I want that sticker. I'm like, what's from the book? I don't read. I just want that sticker, you know? And it's I think there was a lesson in that, and I think a lot of the merch we've designed since then has been you can be a fan of the book, or you can go, that's a funny sticker, that's a cool looking design, that's a whatever. We have one that just says "Have a great apocalypse," and it's a smiley face, but it's like kind of a
like punk
post-apocalyptic
rock
raider kind of
yeah.
looking smiley face. That works whether you've read the books or not. And I think you have to kind of find those things from in the books to make into merch. And like another example, this isn't from a book, but like the Tommy Boy. I had Callahan Auto Parts T-shirt, and that's great. That's that subtle reference that someone out in the wild is going to go, "Oh my god, I love that," and
Right.
everyone else just you're part. You become a
I'm
part
also
of
at
that
least
world.
40 years old. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of gray-haired guys I meet. But I think taking pieces of the world and bringing it, pieces of the book you've created, and bringing it into the world in merch is a great way to, yeah, it's world building in the real world is a great way to do it. And then the other thing we've done that worked really well was we wanted a big display piece, like just a really impactful display piece, and we started putting the book series in an ammo can and packing it with these stickers and stuff like that, and that has been tremendous for us. We figured it was great to have at shows. We never thought it would do well online, but it does really really well online. And I think because it just is another way to tell people what the books are about
Yeah.
and what the books are like.
In that version of your collection, that's something I think we could talk about in a future episode, because I have a lot of questions that I want to, again, steal your ideas for. So I think that could be a whole future video, because it's you've done such great work there, and I'm so envious. And I've been thinking so much since you kind of released that about like what is my version to that, and I still don't have an answer, but I have some kind of different ideas based on your idea, and so we have a lot to get into there. So we'll tag into that in some of these future videos here for
Well,
sure.
that goes back to that it's the trophy edition, right? And I'll get a lot of people going, I found the audiobooks, I love the audiobooks. I need this for my bookcase. I need this for my house. I need to have this on the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of the people that bought it have it's not their first time with the books. Like they've either read it, they listened to it, they're like, no, it's their trophy edition.
Well, and it makes sense. Like I have a leather bound copy of Hitchhiker's Guide, which I've never opened, never once opened the cover.
Mhm.
It's only on the shelf, but I've read the whole series, just not there. And that's there for me, if no one else, to be like, that's an important book. I want it to seem important on my shelf.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to hold it up. So I don't know if you have it handy, but this is the sticker.
Thank you very much. That is the monkey bomb from Apocalypticon, the thing that causes the end of the world. You can't see it on this video so well, but it's a little Jamaican flag there because
That's because you're talking. Yeah, he's on there. It's on the tail there. Yeah, you can see it.
and you wouldn't expect the Jamaicans necessarily, but I'll tell you, they're conniving, and
Well,
we're going to find out more about them in book.
What I love about this is it's exactly what I said. Like this is a part of your story. This is right from the book, and people that have read that would know that. But at the same time, it's just a really cool sticker. And my kids also were like, "Give me one of those." When I was making them, when I was printing them out for you. So
That's awesome.
And I hate to say they haven't read your book, but they were like, "I love that. That's cool." And it's something that's fun even beyond the knowledge of the story.
Connecting with the youth in any way is very exciting, and thank you again for printing those off for me. I'm really excited about that because and part of that story too is like I wrote that 12 years ago or whatever, and I had no idea when I wrote it what a monkey bomb would look like. It was meant to be a bomb shaped like a monkey, and I thought I'll never have to worry about the actual design of this. And then like people started asking like, what does that look like? And so eventually I came up with this, and I'm very happy with it. It looks somewhat like a bomb, looks I think somewhat more like a monkey, and I love it. It's great. It's so silly. It's so ridiculous. And you're right. It doesn't have to be connected to the book because it's actually like you don't actually ever see the monkey bombs in the book. Actually, they're talked about, and it's not kind of part of it.
I mean, a
But
monkey bomb works within the story or just out in the real world.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's just that, what's this thing? But it piques that curiosity too. And if you're doing a show, have a stack of them on the table. What is this about? And you go, oh, let me tell you about where that comes from
yeah, exactly.
and why people look at me funny,
Yeah.
So
Well, there's lots more to talk about merch. I think want to talk about like how to how to price merch. How to like pick the things like the items that you put your logos on, your designs on. So there's a lot of time for that. We will get into that at some point in future episodes of A Billion Bad Ideas.